Tuesday, February 25th, 7 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. So great to have all of you. I really, truly appreciate it. It's going to be a great session today. I've been getting more information about the fifth dimensional beings who are coming in. So of course, we have the blue healers. And then in addition to that, we have the violet healers and the circle of 12. And remember, the circle of 12 is not because there are necessarily 12 of them, but they are originating from the 12th dimension. They are not identifying themselves yet with names. Many of the fifth dimensional beings do not. It is a vibrational frequency. If I get that information, of course, I'll share it with you. In addition to that, my first perception of them was that they had webbed uh, hands. And so immediately thought it was an aquafarian sort of being. However, since then I have met with them on numerous occasions and discovered that they are just made of what we would call light. So the webbing was me and my 3D brain attempting to put an image to an experience. So the hands were not forming fully, they looked webbed. So not aquafarian, now we know. And it is clear that they are 12th dimensional, which means they simply do not have a form at this time. Uh, Great downloads have been coming, more breath work, more clarity around the breath work, things that I will share with you over the course of time. In addition to that, I'm starting to receive the movements that go with many of the breathwork practices. So that will come in the future as well. Just wanted to give you all a heads up that those things are on the way. We have wonderful questions. I want to thank you all for bringing these heartfelt questions. If questions overlap, I will go through with the reader the day before on Monday we meet, and we just try to consolidate the questions so that everybody gets an answer to questions. We also did a little bit of an audit to check to see which questions were not answered yet. So for those of you who reached out and said, my question wasn't answered, I submitted some time ago, we did go through and audit all the questions. So everyone's questions should be addressed. And if not, if it was a previously submitted question and it has not been answered yet, go ahead and put it back into the Telegram chat or the chat here, and know that we will answer questions those questions after today, because the questions for today are already closed. We may or may not have a discussion at the end. It really depends on what the blue healers are feeling in the moment, or the other healers that attend, 5D beings who attend. So please know that there may be a discussion at the end. It may go longer than an hour. You're welcome to hop off at any time that works for you. And know that the recording will be up next week. One last announcement. Next week, I will be traveling. So next Tuesday, instead of me being live, I will record and answer questions prior to my trip, and it will be played as a recording on Tuesday morning at this time. So you'll get to see me live. And if it works out that in my travels I'm able to hop on, I will just hop on and do a channeling session. So know that it'll either be me channeling live, or it will be a recording of questions that I answer, either ones that are submitted or ones that the beings would like for you to have the answers to at this time. It also could just be breath work. So just be prepared for a wonderful surprise next Tuesday. All right, I'll begin. I'm going to tap in. Lori will be our reader today. She will be monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions or concerns, please put them there. If you'll all take a moment to close your eyes, we'll begin with heart breath. And for those of you who are new to the space and you don't know what the heart breath is, I'm going to explain it to you. You will breathe in with one in-breath and out with one in-breath. That's the cycle, and it simply repeats. So you will breathe in and your energy will come in through 6 and 5. It will drop down into the heart. So you'll breathe into the heart, allow the heart center to expand. So it'll open up wide. For some of you, it'll look like a balloon. For some, it'll go around your body. Whatever you see is great. Just expand it as wide as feels comfortable. And that's the top of your inhale. As you exhale, you'll pull all that energy back in. It'll rise up the spine, out through the top of the head, and it will go into the 8th energy center, where it will, as they like to say, mingle with universal energies. And then you'll pull the energy back down in like a funnel through 6 and 5, down to 4. The energy will circle out and around the body like the rings of Saturn, right there, back up through the back of the spine to the top, and it will begin again. So remember, in breath, 6 and 5 to the heart, expand, contract, release. It'll go rings of Saturn around to the back and back up through the top of the head where you'll release completely the exhale in 8. You'll begin again. You may close your eyes and take a moment to resume natural breathing. And in your natural breathing, please do a body scan, which means you're scanning your body from head to toe, getting a baseline of what's happening in your body right now. So when we scan after the breath work at the end of the session, you'll see how your body's energy has moved and changed. We will begin this breath on 3. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Expand the energy center wide and hold. Release, exhale from front to back and up to 8 and hold. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release and circle from front to back and up to 8 and hold. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release, circle front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release, circle from front to back and up to 8. Please continue 5 more times on your own. When you are ready, please resume natural breathing. Scan your body. When you are ready, you may open your eyes. We have an immediate message for you, just to notify you that in this space, are the Violet Healers and the Circle of 12. This space is, whether you ask questions or not, a healing space. This is a space where the healing process happens regardless of the experience you are having, whether directed and guided or not. If you come and you are not well, if you come and you have an affliction of your body, if you have an affliction of your mind, if you have a spiritual challenge or contrast, know that this space is for healing. So, as you are here and every time that you come, it is important that you set an expectation or more so an intention for what it is you would like to accomplish. If you would like to reduce or release depression, put that intention into the space. If you are struggling with an affliction of the body, put your intention for healing into the space. If you feel a sense of irritation, aggravation, or discomfort in your life, put the intention of a pervasive love into this space. Know that the time that we are here, the healers who are present will enter in and out of your space and be in the collective space the entire time. So understand that you are agreeing to this communication from one of us or many of us at the same time, just by your presence being here and your continued experience of staying in this space will be acknowledgement that you are okay with our presence in this healing context. There is no way to be in this space and not be a part of the experience that we have to bring to you with a vibrational frequency. So know that you are here of your own voluntary admission. We thank you for understanding, and we will likely only explain this one time in this session. Know that it will be the same going forward. We want to acknowledge and thank you for the beauty of your questions, the beauty of your hearts, both individually and as a collective. As we are working collaboratively with other dimensional beings, understand that we will pause at times to communicate amongst ourselves. And if you hear these pauses, go ahead and simply pause within yourselves. You may scan your body, close your eyes, breathe naturally, breathe the heart breath, whatever it is that you prefer to do. But just know that we are here for the best interest of all of you who come together in this space. But collaboration sometimes requires a bit of communication. The Violet Healers would like to impart a message through us. We will translate. And that is, there was a healing going on for the last week for a member of your group who has been healing from a very uh, pervasive medical condition. And all of you are holding space for this person again today. If you wish to know more about that experience, you will need to watch the recording of the session that we did 1 week ago today. We know that many of you know who this individual is, and please, with your beautiful hearts, extend a small intention, at least, if you feel comfortable in doing so, for this individual's healing. The Violet Healers will be in his space today, and they will continue to communicate with us through the Blue Healers and your host. If they have something to say, which is common for them to have something to say, the voice of your host will change and you will begin to hear as they come through. And we will do our best to make sure you understand the change that is happening. And so we will begin with your first question, please.
As always, we really appreciate the opportunity to receive these messages and the continued conversation. The first question is from Jasper. I have had issues with selfishness and addiction over the years that I feel I am moving past. What signs or thoughts should I look for that show me my intentions and actions are being driven by pureness and integrity rather than addiction or habit?
Mm. Jasper, we thank you for this wonderful question because it is an affliction for the majority of your kind. Many of you are still in what we have described the juvenile stage of humans. And it is perfectly okay to be there. Know that you mature or evolve, as the words that you use, in your world, as is your narrative or the belief systems that you have collectively, through challenging experiences in the body. As you, as an individual, and those of you as a collective who come together, you will begin to understand that these challenges of the body, these contrasts that you create, are no longer necessary. As you begin to see that your health and wellness is more pervasive than your illness, you will know that as an individual, you are beginning to emerge from a juvenile need for that to be an experience in your life for your evolution, meaning that your necessity for learning lessons in order to reap benefits in your world as those begin to decrease and your pervasive connection to the heart and coherence increases, whereby your illness is no longer necessary, you will find that these experiences of pain and suffering will begin to diminish. This includes addiction, which we will discuss further in a moment. Know that juvenile for us does not mean that you are immature per se. That is a word that can be used in this place. And immaturity is rampant on your planet, as seen by those who insist on acts of violence toward themselves and one another. These levels of immaturity are of great concern for many dimensional beings who observe your planet, simply because this level of harm could be based on your biological story, a way that you create extinction for yourselves as you have or other living things on your planet have created extinction for themselves. Not all extinction on your planet is a result of immaturity. It is a much greater topic for another time. Just know that also in this conversation, if you have a pervasive medical condition or spiritual problem, which you might call a problem, we will call a contrast or challenge. If you have a psychological challenge, the degree to which you are suffering is not any correlation to the level of immaturity within you. Just know that these terms exist. Use them to the degree to which your heart feels it is in right connection. And know that as you continue to do breath work, as you continue to meditate, as you continue to come into alignment with coherence in your brain and your heart that extends to every cell in your body, and the narratives you tell yourselves begin to change, where there is no story needed any longer, you will find that this emergence into or emergence from juvenile tendencies into a more mature state of being will be a change not only within you, but in your community, this one and the one around you, meaning families, neighborhoods, cities, states, nations, and in fact will expand out to humanity itself. You are all in this wonderful process that your planet has agreed upon from its inception. And know that by harming yourself with negative thoughts of who you are or where you are, do not serve to assist you in any way. Those, what we would call minor acts of violence or aggression towards yourself, which is any form of depression, is a minor act of violence or aggression toward the self. Know that it is through accepting and taking every step toward your freedom in love and connection in your heart, that you will emerge from any juvenile place within you. Be kind to yourself, be loving to yourself, be patient with yourself in every moment, knowing that the more choices you make toward positivity, toward bringing more joy, love, and acceptance into your life, the less you will suffer from afflictions of the mind, afflictions of addiction, which afflictions of the mind are all afflictions of addiction. The less you will suffer from physical afflictions or challenges or contrasts in your body. Know that it is, for most of you, a process. For those of you who wish to heal yourselves wholly and completely and immediately, that is, in fact, a reality, and you ask us all the time how to do so. It is a series of small steps within you in this moment that allow you to be free. You may find that these steps take time and they may happen all at once. Be open to the process. Be joyful and play with the experience of the process. Know that your addiction is a self imposed limitation and that you will be free of it so long as you are taking the steps in the process of choosing your heart over hate, choosing the heart and love over challenges, choosing the heart and love over whatever experience you are having that appears to be negative, contrasting, difficult, or a lesson, as many of you like to call them. There is no humor for us around your choices around any of those experiences. It is simply a story you tell yourselves. Know that your afflictions, particularly addictions, particularly experiences of the mind and body, are a collection of narratives from both your DNA, your past lives, also a story, a narrative that you create in the 3D world. And there is gravity that creates an intensity around the experience you are having. So if you have a tremendous suffering in some form of mental health, of physical health, of addiction, which is a combination of mental health and physical health, meaning addiction to substances, although, as we have stated, addiction has a broad reaching definition in your world. Know that it is simply because there have been many narratives along the way, past lives, other dimensions, in this life, through your DNA expression, that have created density or gravity within you that has created a collection of information that has been so pervasive that it expresses in your body as a strong force of a medical condition, an addiction, immaturity, selfishness, depression, or other forms of mental illness. You need to begin to ask yourself, what is it that I want in my life? Ask yourself, where is it that I am free within my body? As we encourage you to do body scans, you will notice areas of challenge, areas of contrast. Now take it one step further and notice areas of freedom. Where in your body are you already free? If it is only at the very tip of your nose, in one of your eyeballs, if it is only one earlobe, the tip of one finger, your belly button, some small area of your body where you feel freedom, send your breath and love into that space, encouraging it to grow within you. Allow the love and connection within you to expand as often as is possible for you. Meaning, if you are breathing, you have an opportunity to expand the love and connection within yourself from that one tiny place to your entire body. That information is available to you. Should you be one of those humans who is endlessly stubborn and says, there is no place in my body where I feel anything good, you are lying to yourself. There is always a place within you where there is freedom. There is always a place within you where there is joy. And there is always a place within you that reconnects you to love in your heart. If you are that stubborn, this is not the space for you. Instead, you need to find the space within yourself first before you will receive the benefit of your own freedom. We are not here to magically change any of you. None of us are here. No 5D being is here. No extra dimensional being is here to save you from yourself. Only you can save you from yourself. Only you have the power to find the beauty and love within yourself. The Violet Healers would like to speak. As we are more closely connected to your kind, we have elected to step in and say a bit further about your situation. As we find this in this moment tremendously humorous, knowing that we exist in 3D and 5D should be a testament to you and your kind that is possible. Understand that your mm, and your host is asking us to choose words wisely, so we will do so. But understand that many of your juvenile tendencies are simply self inflicted. And our kind, the Violet Healers, as you are calling us, we have been in your position and we have had to overcome these same experiences. And we continue to do so is simply because our 5D relationship is still connected to 3D in very similar ways as yours. Our visiting your planet simply has to do with a 5D experience. However, one day when you are a universal traveler, you have permission, as have others of your kind, humans from your Earth, have visited our place of existence. Understand that this is something for you to continue to reach toward. And as you reach out to us specifically, meaning the Violet Healers, as you call us, know that we have directions for how you can remove your gravity on your planet, meaning you specifically, not the concept of gravity that you keep sending your mind back to. Congratulations to your education system for creating habits and patterns around learning that are so fixed that you are incapable of stepping outside of that. So we mean this with humor, of course, because there are many ways that your words can be perceived. Know that when we say release your gravity, we mean that simply allow yourselves to take your energy frequency and slip from 3D to 5D so that you can see and experience us on a different level. We are most closely related, at least in this space, to your kind. And we have tremendous healing abilities for your kind. We also are a little bit more, as we should say, we have more emotional span than the blue healers or, of course, the Circle of 12. However, we want you to know that nothing that we have to say is a mockery of who you are or what you are experiencing. Instead, understand that we are laughing within ourselves, knowing that we have some of the same challenges still, yet we are at a place where we see humor in it because we know that these minor afflictions of our 3D existence are simply a reminder that we exist in 3D sometimes and 5D at other times. It is for you to, within yourselves, love and accept where you are in your 3D existence. Tell yourselves the stories that make you feel like you are becoming free. Release yourselves from the stories that prevent you from having freedom in your life. And again, as the Blue Healers stated, which was our message to you, if you are so very stubborn that you insist on the suffering part of your experience, we suggest you look to your religious background. It is a narrative that is so very deep within your DNA expressions, where there is this concept that suffering is required on your planet in order to have a beautiful life. We are here to tell you that this is not true. And while the Blue Healers may have used the word lie, that was a direct translation from us. We would use that word. They, however, would prefer the use of the word. It is an untruth that you tell yourselves so that you can feel like you have earned your right to be in joy and happiness. Your religious traditions have beautiful aspects, just as your physical beings and bodies have beautiful and loving aspects. Understand that as you are breathing in and scanning your body, you will find these religious afflictions are somewhere within you. Even if you were never raised with a religious tradition, know that probably someone in your family, including your parents, were. These religious traditions are so pervasive. They were a way for your kind to connect to 5D. They served a purpose. They are meant to be something that brings more release into joy, love, connection, and beauty. If you see anything other than that in your religious traditions, it is time to pivot. It is time to pivot. Focus on the things in your religious traditions that bring great joy, love, and connection. Why is it that your God lives outside of you and you are not seeing that you are all things? Therefore, this God lives within you. You are a manifestation of your God, the one you believe in. It does not matter which one. Your religious traditions are all exactly the same. They are narratives and stories that humans have created in order to exist on your planet, evolving toward what you would call consciousness. It is simply a representative story that teaches you, such as your education system has taught you, that you require words to communicate. Now that you understand and know that these communications are vibrational in essence, you have the vibration within you, it is simply an uncovering process. You can begin to release the need for stories and narratives and words to define who you believe you are. Instead, start to imagine within yourselves that you are not these things, that you are everything, and in everything you are nothing. What would you choose to be if you could erase everything that you believe you are right now? You would likely choose to be love. However, for many of you, if the circle of 12 come in and erase your slate, which is something they are capable of doing, you will elect to be depressed. You will elect to be addicted. You will elect to be in pain. You will elect to be in suffering. Why is this your choice? And it is not for you to then use against yourself. Simply just say, I have made a choice again to be depressed. I have made a choice again to be addicted. I have made a choice again to suffer. What can I choose instead? Take a moment to choose instead. And know that we understand because we have been in the very place that you are in. We understand that you have wonderful tools in your tool bags to assist yourselves when you get stuck. Do not think of being stuck as a bad thing. Think of it as an experience of life. Ah, I feel stuck. What is that about? Bring joy, bring love into your stuck. Bring joy, bring love into your suffering. Bring joy, bring love into every experience you have, and you will be liberated from that moment. We have work in this space now. It is possible that we will interject our thoughts once again, but know that we are here for the healing of one individual member of this group, yet our energy spreads and extends around all of you at the same time. Mhm. Mm. Yes, we are ready for your next question, please.
Jasper asks a follow-up question. How do I know if I am in coherence and headed in the right direction?
The violet healers, and we will translate for them, say that you know you are in coherence and in the right direction when you are full of love in your heart, meaning you are joyful in the experience that you are having, regardless of what that experience might be. Your next question, please.
Sergey asks, how do we know if we are on the right path for our greater purpose? How do we create the proper platform for the work we do in the world?
You know you are on the right path for your purpose, and the platform that you use for this purpose, you will know you are in the right place, the correct place, the genuine place, when your heart is in love. Even if it feels challenging, you will say to yourself, I am loving this experience of traveling from one situation to another. When you follow this guide within yourself of love and connection, of relaxation, beauty, joy, you will find that every step you take leads you in the correct direction. You will find that the platform on which you need to express will emerge in front of you without challenges. It will simply be there before you, knowing it is the right for you. You will feel it in your heart. And remember that as you begin to live in more love, joy, connection, and coherence, you will see less of the path before you and more of what to do in the moment, where you will look up to the horizon and see the future laid out beautifully, and you will look down at your hands and see what is right before you. Know that it is a process of both things. You will look up and see the horizon and the challenge, look up and see the horizon and see the path laid before you, or look to your hands and see the beauty of the moment of what you are doing. As you begin to change your focal point from the horizon and your path to what is right before you, you will recognize that what is right before you, the immediate future, and how you feel in love, connection, joy, and beauty, will directly relate to subtle changes in your view of the horizon and the path before you. That will constantly be moving and changing. And the more you are able to allow yourself to relinquish what humans call control or suffering or challenges, the more you will see that the task right before you in love equates to a path to the horizon that is also in love. Your next question, please.
Judith asks, is the purpose of a soul journey via a human and other experiences only to return to its origin as source, or also to evolve source? Is source evolving its own consciousness through human and other experiences, including the blue healers and the violet healers?
The source is simply source, and everything in the universe has emerged from source. Source is not evolving, source is evolved and evolving. So, because you are part of source and you would consider yourself to be evolving, you are both evolved and evolving. So, if you would like to view your experience in this human body, and we would love to acknowledge you for seeing that your horizon is very distant, and in that it is an incredible gift for you to see that you are not just looking at a horizon in this lifetime you are experiencing, but for all eternity and for all source. What a great gift that is for you. Know that your personal evolution as an individual is what it is. You will evolve from where you are today until where you are at the moment you release this physical body and choose to incarnate or choose another assignment elsewhere. Know that humanity has the potential to evolve within the individual and within humanity as a collective and in relationship to your planet. And also, it is completely evolved. This being a wonderful question and maybe has a complex answer because we are required to use words to give you this answer, know that yes, such as the violet healers have evolved in their species to be a little bit in 3D and a lot in 5D. You may evolve to do the same, or you may not. It depends on your individual choice to be in connection with heart and brain coherence, or as we are calling it, pure love, which is simply a frequency that we are using the word love to describe. You have the option to do that. Choose your path and stay in love, knowing that it may change based on your view of the horizon in any moment, meaning the horizon of your lifetime. The path of your lifetime toward the end is your personal horizon. You are wanting to know bigger questions, and we love the answers that are coming through you at this time. You have a unique perspective. To the individual who asks this question, this is where your purpose lies. And until you step into articulating how to explain this to others, to share this with others, to teach this with others, you will remain in the eddy of the challenge of your experience in the moment. Know that this is your purpose. You, as an individual, the person who asked the question. Your ability to see the horizon as infinity, as in nothing, as in source, is your gift. Share this with others, and you will find that the answer to your question is in your question, that you have the answer, and this answer you will share with humanity. Your next question, please.
Last question. Do we process energy for other people?
We are receiving information from 12D. Please give us a moment to translate. The answer is yes and no. The agreements you have on your planet related to the discussion we have had in this session means that you have a story whereby you are processing energies for one another. This story is both related to your DNA expression as an individual, those who process for others, and those who, in fact, at this time, all humans are processing energies for one another. It is story of humanity and where you have come from. It is a story that can have more weight, gravity, more emphasis for specific individuals than others. Know that all energy on your planet is constantly moving, just as all energy is moving in all of the universe. And the more you can allow yourself to stay in a state of love, these energies will move to you and through you. They will process because your informational collection of your 3D, specific 3D existence is different, and the energy will traverse in the energy cycle of the flow of your energy pattern around and through your body and will release. That is interesting for us to recognize, us being the blue healers. Know that your processing energies, your term of processing energies for others, is another layer by which you are understanding that all communication is vibrational and not with the use of words or body language. And this perception of energy and the transmutation of energy that you each have with one another and all living things in your planet is a massive information cycle whereby you acquire all of the data and information on your planet. And for some of you, the universe at large. So the short answer is yes, you process energy for others simply because it is the mechanism of your world, your 3D earth, and know that as you collect all the data from your world, you are a living library of the existence of all things on your planet, both on and within and surrounding. And when you have collected all of the data, you will simply exist as the library of your world. And there you will begin to release 3D and spend more time in 5D. For those who have energetic patterning within them, where there is tremendous darkness, which is not to be confused with afflictions of the body or the mind necessarily, however, can relate to both. This darkness will only rise as the individuals on your planet increase in love, the frequency of love in a mass whereby the exchange of energy begins to impact violence and hate and darkness on your planet. There will be less of this darkness and energy encoded into the library of existence on your planet, which means that the evolutionary shift for humans will accelerate exponentially and in slow steps and then all at once, just like your individual evolution, your planet will emerge as a whole different living being from 3D to components of 5D and expanding in that cycle and process infinitely. We ask you to please close your eyes at this time. The circle of 12 have a message that is simply going to be transmitted. We find it challenging to have us, the blue healers, translate. So please tap into your natural breathing. Sense the energy of the circle of 12 around you specifically and around this group entirely. And we will begin with a breath work to assist with sharing this frequency. You will breathe in from 9 to 0 and exhale from 0 to 9. And continue to do so until we ask you to do something else. Begin now, please. When the transmission is complete, please resume natural healing or natural breathing. Scanning your body. We wish to thank you for your time here today. There will be discussion following this session if you wish to participate. It is a form of integration of the material that we have covered today, bringing it more deeply into your 3D body. All right, I will give you the ability to unmute yourselves. Please leave cameras off. Be mindful of the space as you are asking your questions if you have any. And you can always put one in the chat for Lori to read.
Jan, thank you so much. As always, absolutely fantastic, incredible. We evolving every time, and it is total unknown for me and for Maria. We appreciate so much this community. We love you, and we love this community from the bottom of our heart. The fact that we had violet healers and everything was violet this week, and we're sitting in violet environment is very interesting for us. Maybe a question that I would appreciate your also personal experience. I've been dreaming about space travel since I was a child, since the birth, and I've on this journey many times thought about it and really wanted to experience it. And I'm trying to understand: is it my own internal limitations with education system, with everything that was mentioned during the call that prevents me, or other internal blocks? Because I had out of body experience, but it was very prompt and brief, and I never been able to, as I understand, experience the travel and the fact that Violet Healers mentioned that it is a possibility and we can learn it. I would really appreciate your advice. What is possible within this time frame? What are the steps I should follow? Not should follow, but how can I be more open to this? Thank you.
Yes, what a great question, Sergey. And thank you and Maria for sharing your beautiful hearts in this space. It's always wonderful seeing you here. And all of you, of course. So there are two different types of travel that you brought up. One is space travel, which is the exploration of space by use of technology. Humanity has the technology to travel into space. And if you think about it, all children born 1969 at least and after are space travelers. So we have had the ability since the 60s, the 1960s, to travel in space. So for many of us who were born within that time window, we are human space travelers simply because the technology does exist. There is also extra dimensional travel, which is where you are, I want to say bilocating, however, that is the human term that is coming to mind in the moment. So extra dimensional travel, which is what our fifth dimensional beings are doing, 12th dimensional beings are doing. There is extra dimensional travel, which you begin to learn that process, or you specifically are beginning to learn that process through out of body experiences. That means that you are taking your consciousness and awareness and leaving your physical body behind. And of course, using human words, where you can look down on your physical body and have a little bit of an experience of where are you, right? You're no longer in this density of 3D. You're existing in the energy realm, which is your first explorations in the fifth dimensional realm. Know that all dimensions exist simultaneously, so we'll use these words as if there are levels or from 3D to 12D in this conversation. So once you have had one experience out of body, you know the way. It is like taking a hike, a new hike. The first time it feels a little unfamiliar. You walk from point A to point B, you look out at the view, you turn around and return, or you make your loop. The next time it becomes more familiar. Know that what we are calling an out of body experience really is not an out of body experience at all. You are simply projecting your awareness and your vision into 5D, whereby you can look at this body, this experience you're having from a different perspective. So, as you understand, the energy of the physical body, the 3D world, has created a belief system whereby it circulates the energy up through the nervous system, through that torus, out the top of the head, circling around in all directions, right? All the way around you, like an egg or an orb, whatever you wish to see. And then also the energy goes out through the energy centers. So I'll use 5 because it's easy to see in the camera, out from front to back and around. And it can reverse, right? All of that can reverse. It can go this way, it can go that way. So this is the understanding of our energy body and energy that we have created as a story in this world. And what you're doing is you're projecting yourself out into the reaches of your energy field, which has now expanded way out. And you're looking back at this part of that experience, which is the 3D existence. So, for those of you who are practicing out of body experiences, there are books out there that give you step by step process of how to do that. However, know that you're doing it in your breathwork and your meditation. The moment you alleviate yourself from your physical body, you're nowhere. And when you're nowhere, you're in 5D. And when you're in 5D, you are extra dimensionally traveling. So you're a dimensional walker. And in doing so, you'll find that with practice, you will go there more and more often. And then the experience of being in the 3D body will feel very, very different. The physical nature of the body, as you practice more and more with dimensional walking or extra dimensional travel, you'll find that this 3D experience is much lighter. It feels um, a little less real than the energy traveling that you'll do. That doesn't mean that it isn't real. It just means that there is less energy and matter here in this brain connection and more of your energy being expanded out to extra dimensional experiences. All right, I'll take the next question.
Thank you so much, Jen.
Pleasure.
Jan, David asked a question in the chat. Would you like me to read it to you?
Yes.
Okay. Do the blue, violet, and 12-dimensional beings communicate using words? Do they have a language, or is there a better way to communicate, such as telepathy? In his own experience with the beings and source, he usually gets a download of information, and he wants to know, how can we improve our communication methods? Thank you.
Yes, any form of communication that you have with the 5D beings is yours, and it is okay. If you are using your mind, your intention, your heart, all of this connection is perfectly okay. The ways you perceive are based on, again, this you're like each individual is like a living story. So and we have these collective stories, right? The collective stories of our world in like fairy tales or mythology or religion, which is a form of according to, and what I understood from the blue healers today and from the violet healers is that our religions are all a form of mythology. So you have created a story and a mythology within your individual being that is encompassing the entire universe in which you exist or you believe you exist. How you communicate out may be individual to you, and we can share these stories with one another. So, for example, you may be particularly adept at uh, using your communication skills in your meditations. You may find that you need to go to a certain place in nature. All of this is acceptable. Just know with practice, it becomes easier, and then it doesn't matter where you are. However, you will need in the 3D world to make choices so that you're not communicating in 5D, completely leaving the 3D world while you're driving your car. So you'll make choices about where and when you make these communications. Know that these extra dimensional beings are also communicating with themselves. And I'd like to share a little bit more about that from my experience, particularly what happened today as I am learning from them how they are communicating, and they're learning from each other how they are communicating. And the lesson or the information, meaning lesson as a teacher, right? 30 years as a teacher, the information that I'm giving to you is to help you understand that if I explain how they communicate, you can pull that into yourself and allow that story to inform you about ways you may choose to change ways you are doing it now or not change at all. Or it may be new information for someone who's on this call who is still in the approaching stage of trying to understand how to make that communication happen outside of 3D. So, as the three groups were communicating together, you saw that the violet healers simply just hijack the situation completely. They are a little bit between 3D and 5D, as they said, whereas the blue healers live entirely in 5D. The 12th dimension beings find it very challenging to create words, so they often will translate through the blue healers that then comes down through me in 3D. So there are multi layers of communications that are happening as I am channeling, which means that in the violet healers, uh, because they're not entirely in 5D, they like to essentially hijack the conversation and use my voice because it's easier and faster for them, because they also have language or connection to human language in a way that makes it easier for them. So their impatience is what it feels like in me. However, that is not necessarily what it really is. It's just that they want to say it and they want to say it now, and they don't want the blue healers to translate for them. They're just saying, hey, we have something to say, and they just take over the space, whereby simply pushing the blue healers completely out of the way. And the circle of 12, there's no impact there whatsoever. But so there is, and very lovingly, it's not aggressive, it doesn't feel difficult or challenging. It's my physical body that had the moment of like, okay, I'm choking now, I'm coughing and I'm choking because the violet healers communicate for some reason through me in this fifth energy center. And so their energy will literally come into this energy center with my permission, of course, and I'm dialoguing with them all the time. Anyone who's in my space, I'm dialoguing with all the time. It's not a takeover, it is simply an agreement and a collaboration. So the fifth healers come and their energy will be behind me, and they will project that energy in essence, meaning I'm also reaching toward it. And it'll come as a wave sort of through my back, as if I am standing and the wind is blowing. And it will come through and then there's a little sorting out that happens with human language, and it'll come out through the mouth. The blue healers have a very gentle wave of energy. The combo 5D, 3D of the violet healers feels a lot more physical for me. And that's why my physical body will shift and change. And I have to kind of shake them out a little bit, because there is a gravity is the word that they're using, but there is more of a collection of energy that it feels more dense. I think the word density is maybe better placed, but their density, and they come in from the right. This has been my experience. They're coming in from my right and into this area, and then they're projecting their message with words. And they laugh a lot as they're doing it, and their voice is so very different, but in my head they're laughing, so we're kind of laughing and talking at the same time, because they're trying to search my database of information of all the words I know in English in order to communicate a message to you. So the reason I'm sharing all of this is that when you are observing the channeling itself and you're seeing what's happening, and you may have tendencies toward channeling yourself, know that this is the experience I'm having. So it may assist you in validating the experiences that you're having as well. Humanity is a channeling race. We are a channeling being, simply because we have the ability to communicate on such a complex level, like comparing ourselves to bats or, you know, mice on our planet. We are unique in our human animal existence. That's not to say that other creatures cannot channel. They can. It's simply that we cannot understand what they're saying because we don't speak bat and we don't speak mouse. So know that where you are and how you're communicating with extra dimensional beings, meaning other dimensional beings, is acceptable. Just roll with it, love into yourself, love into it, and be willing to say, so long as I am feeling love and connection in my heart, so long as I am feeling the beauty of love and connection with this being, I know I'm on the right track. If ever you are feeling a sense of negativity or fear, just pull in the communication and stay in 3D. There's no need for you to go into that place. It is not a battle to be won. It is not a fight to experience. You should always feel love when you are channeling or you are connecting into 5D. If you are not feeling love, step back into the 3D world. Allow yourself to come back into brain and heart coherence, love in the heart, and allow yourself to expand in that. I personally, me as Jan, do not recommend anyone try to do 5D communication from a place of anger, frustration, difficulty, hate, or fear. That is, in my opinion and in my experience, because I have had that experience, erroneously believing that it was part of the process or whatever I told myself. Know that if you are feeling negative emotions, simply step back into your own world of 3D, into yourself, into your heart, and love yourself back into that space of love. It will come. It will come. You don't need to force anything. It will come in love, and it should only come in love. It is when you're dabbling in those other things, darkness, negativity, you're trying to tap more into that. Just my own personal experience, and I'm open to, you know, other thoughts, but what works best for me is being in a place of love. And dabbling into that darkness, I found myself to be feeling that more often than I liked. And so when I was in those darkness moments, thinking that I was communicating somehow to an extra dimensional being, it turned out that it made things in my body feel uncomfortable to the point of illness. And so I prefer the love connections, and that's what I recommend to any of you who are here. Hopefully, David, I believe, David asked the question. This is a comprehensive enough answer for your question, and I'll take the next question, please.
I have a question, Jan. I'm wondering, so I've heard the blue healers a couple times refer to people's futures, especially when you did the channeling session in Cancun. I remember the blue healers talking at least about one or two people's futures. And I'm curious as to how they can see someone's future if we haven't made choices to be there. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you for this wonderful question. I'm glad you brought it up. Often when I'm in the 5D channeling space, this information comes, yet I don't have the opportunity because they're talking, I'm not. This is a wonderful question. And I think the important distinction to understand is that in the channeling space, the 5D beings, even the 3D, 5D combo beings are not psychics. This is not a psychic reading. They are not here to tell you your future. However, sometimes they get information about the future. So it is very, very difficult to sometimes understand what's the difference between a psychic and the difference between a fifth dimensional being and their message. A psychic is someone who is tapping into what I will call the raging river of your past that is pushing you into your future. There are myriad timelines in your future based on all this information from your past, your DNA sequencing, parenting you received, huge and important topic that I couldn't say enough about in another arena, not today. Um, your religious experiences, your community experiences, the country in which you are born and grow up and live. All of this energy comes together and has created you as this 3D being. This unique 3D being is a result of the momentum of this past information, right? And remember, all things exist at once, so it can blow your mind on so many levels, but just use this languaging for now so I can answer this particular question. Is that you have all of this energy pushing you toward an inevitable future, right? Inevitable future. Psychics tap into that. Mediums, generally speaking, tap into that. They are looking at the probable future, not the potential of the unknown. Some psychics are good enough that they can tap into maybe the outlying, right? So here's the river of you and the momentum of you going forward. Some psychics are excellent at pulling in information from a peripheral or an unexpected future outcome. So wellness from a chronic medical condition, complete personality change, or a relationship that comes out of nowhere, right? Comes out of nowhere. I'm going to use that in human terms, 3D world, not in the unknown, and the other thing I'll discuss in a moment. And that is this momentum, and psychics who pull information from there will give you information based on an inevitable potential timeline. That's what a psychic does, which is great stuff, especially if you're emerging into the awareness of maybe I don't have to live the pre-scripted life I thought I was going to have. However, as you advance beyond the need for psychics to tell you about your inevitable futures, right? The myriad timelines that are just in this one tiny tunnel of possibility, you begin to meditate or go into the quantum field and see that, oh, I have possibilities out there that are completely unknown to me. Psychics generally cannot tap into that. This is where 5D information is very helpful because they have a broader perspective on your inevitable future and possibility that exists that you can't see because your DNA expression is so complex that you don't even know that that possibility is there. However, they are still not psychics. They are not looking for your future. They are instead bringing you information that assists you in finding within yourself strength or your internal power to overcome the obstacles that are in the way of the path that you are on. So there is a difference in that way, in the communication and in the futures that they give you. Any futures that are given, and I'm finding that it's coming less and less frequently, that the 5D beings are willing to give that information. They used it at first simply to communicate with you, to connect on your level. Instead, what I'm discovering is that the vibrational frequency or the transmission of information is more important to them. And therefore, they're doing more of a different approach, which is words and communication here in this space, energetic frequencies that come through the breath work, and then just transmissible download information that comes in the silence. And all three of these are woven together in many ways in the experience we're having here. Yet also when you work one-on-one with them or through me with them, the experiences I've been having in the individual sessions is much more potent because they are appealing to one specific person's energy rather than trying to meet the needs of the collective. The reason the 5D beings are splitting off in these, some of these public channelings, and they are working specifically on one individual or another, and sometimes they're rotating around, not letting you know. That's why they sent out their disclaimer apparently at the beginning, is that they would like for you to understand that if you're here, you're saying, I consent to being healed. And that's all. And that's why many of you are here. And they will go and do the work in the space while the talking is happening, appealing to the 3D. The talking is happening, the breath work is happening, and the transmission's happening, that you're getting all three of those benefits at once. So yeah, complex way of describing it. Hopefully that is understood. Andrea, thank you for your question, and we'll take another question.
Mona asked in the chat, why do you think sometimes it's easier to connect to the energy of love and oneness, and some other times it's harder to connect? And of course, she thanks you as well.
And thank you for this question. Well, think of it as the ocean. Some days you go out and the surf is flat, and some days you go out and it's 25-foot wave in the same location, depending on the year, depending upon the weather, depending upon the experience, depending upon the skill level of the surfer. A flat wave might feel like 25 feet to someone who's brand new. So the experience that you are having and whether or not you connect, it is related to what is happening in this chemical experience of your physical body. So some days you may feel fantastic and you may feel deep connection. And some days you may feel fantastic and you may feel no connection, and anywhere in between. And then there are always those days where people feel that it's a hard day. It's a challenging day. It's a day of contrast and struggle and why me and when is this ever going to change? And you may feel more connected than ever those days because you are so, you've let it down. You've just said, you know what? I give up. I'm having a terrible day. I just give up. And boom, you're in 5D or the quantum field immediately simply because your guard's down. Or maybe you're struggling and you're also fighting at the same time. So using surfing as an example, because I live here in Hawaii, something I do. There are days where I go out and I am in the flow. I am paddling out and it feels easy. And there are days where I get on the board and I'm like, yes, I'm a surfer. And there are days I go out and I fight with the waves. I can't catch it. I'm not paddling right. I'm not paddling fast enough. My arms are tired. My neck hurts. I can't see when the wave's coming. I can't feel it. I'm not connected. I get up on the board and immediately fall off. And then, 1 hour later, my arms are rubber and I can barely make it to shore. It just depends on what you're doing in your day. Know that and love into yourself as these experiences are going on. And know that if you are not connected today, it doesn't mean that you're not connected forever. It just means that in this moment, in this time, in this moment, you're not feeling it. I can use another example that I had Sunday morning. I know none of you have ever done this. Haha. You wake up and your neck hurts because you slept weird, right? I probably Didn't move all night. My neck got super stiff. I woke up and I thought, okay, my neck's in a lot of pain. Not the experience I wanted today, but there it is. And so I thought I'll do changing boxes. For those of you who know that meditation, it's about changing your reality from one place to another. So I did changing boxes and I sat there for 20 minutes doing the short version, and I actually felt less anxious because for anyone who's had a chronic medical condition, you have any kind of pain, particularly migraines, and you think it's going to explode into a full-blown migraine. And I was like, no, I don't need to feel anxious about this. That's not happening today. Still, I felt all this neck pain, and I thought, well, all right, maybe I'm just meant to feel a little neck pain today. I can go get a massage, get acupuncture, whatever. Instead, I said, no, I'm going to use an Abraham Hicks method called Rampage of Appreciation that I learned from a beer. And it worked. In less than 10 minutes, I did a rampage of appreciation for my beautiful neck. Oh, you're so long and helpful. Oh my goodness. I love how the muscles of my neck are so strong to hold up my brain. And it sounded ridiculous in the moment. And I was saying it out loud while walking my dog. So just get this image in your head, right? I'm walking neighbors, people, I don't care. I am doing a thing and I was doing rampage. Oh, you're such a wonderful, sweet, beautiful little neck. I can't believe I'm so lucky to have you in my life. I'm saying this literally out loud. Within 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, probably like more like 5 minutes, pain completely gone. Why? I don't know. And I don't need to know. But I know that I have a tool bag, a large tool bag of skills that I have learned over the course of my life for how to hijack that human experience from negativity into another way of being. And when one doesn't work, reach in the tool bag and grab another one. And don't fight yourself. If it's not done in love, you're just going to struggle, right? So just know that the physical body is going to have its thing. The brain is going to do its thing. Your psychological world is going to do its thing. Did I want to feel anxious when I woke up in pain? No, I didn't. But there it was. And so I was like, okay, the refractory period is what you're looking for. How quickly can you, based on the last time, pull yourself back into love and coherence and connection? Start focusing on that. Say, oh my gosh, it only took me 5 minutes this time. Win, right? It's a score. I'm still in a human body. I got human things I got to deal with. And that's totally okay. Just love yourself where you are and what you're doing. And know that you'll come back into connection and you'll stay there for longer periods of time. And then when it comes up that you're not in connection, you'll be like, what is that? I don't even wait. Oh my gosh, I'm out of connection with my heart. It'll be like it'll creep up on you in a way where you'll start to forget what it feels like to be out of connection. So love yourself in the process of doing all those things. If you need more tools in your tool bag, all you got to do is ask someone in this room. Everyone's got at least 50 of them they could share. All right, next question.
Yes, asked privately, during these sessions, this person is feeling tingling in different parts of the body. Is this an indication that the blue healers, violet healers, and circle of 12 are intervening?
That absolutely is a possibility. If you are doing a breathwork practice whereby you are, and I use this word very lightly, maybe hyperventilating a little bit, your body will tingle as a result of a 3D experience. So that's one thing. In addition to that, if you are just in meditation and you start feeling a release of the physical body, meaning it's getting harder to feel my physical body because I am expanding into a 5D reality, into the unknown, We'll call it the unknown, which could be 5D or not. When you're expanding into that place and you start feeling tingling in your body and you are connecting to, with intention, the healers, yes, absolutely. I would say I feel that very, very frequently in the channelings and in my meditations, or just when I call in and ask questions and I'm out for a walk in the world. So yes, that tingling sensation, oftentimes you'll see me as I'm channeling, I'll just like my head will turn slightly and I'm tapping into either they're talking to me directly or a sensation in my physical body where it's like, what is the message that's coming through this tingling sensation? It is your physical body. Remember, your skin is your largest organ, it's a sensory organ. We call it touch, much more vast than that. But if you're tingling in your body somewhere and it's not a hyperventilating situation, know that you are receiving information. Just tap in for a moment and say, okay, what is the communication? It might be an image, it might be a sound, it could be words. Do not worry if you're not getting words at first. See what it feels like first. See what it feels like. And it may not have a name for an emotion or a feeling that you know that word. Don't try to define it as being something specific. Just say, wow, that feels like a combination of joy and ecstasy and love. Oh, there's a little bit of something else in there that I don't know what it is. And just let it be whatever it is that you come up with in the moment. And always write it down. I have a notebook here. Sometimes I'm writing while I'm channeling, and then I have to interpret my own writing when I'm done. But know that sometimes jotting it down allows you to go back and reconnect with that feeling a little bit more quickly. And as you increase those experiences of going there more quickly, you'll be there more frequently and for longer durations of time. All right, I will take another question. This will be the last one.
Um, Hi, Jan. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Oh, the same topic. You were talking about tingling sensations and all kinds of things. I have many, many of them that I can describe, but I just want to give you an example really quick. And I wanted to know if everybody, or I mean, other people, my body shakes. Last night I was listening to your last week's channeling, and when we were doing the breath, I was, I went into my bed and I said, let's meditate this. And I was listening and following instructions with the breathing between 9 and 0 and extending it as it was instructed, like an arm length, all the way to the bottom and all the way to the top. And then my body was shaking, like shaking. My head was moving side to side, and the rest of my body, all the way down to my feet, was moving side to side. Is that part of the experience with the 5D? Is that energy going places? I just wanted to have a better idea.
Yes, thank you, Claudia. This is a great question because it is very common for the body to have tremor, vibration, shakes, as it is releasing energy patterns that no longer serve you, is the easiest way to say it. So, as the healers like to say, they use the word gravity, which simply means sort of a density. There is a density in the body that creates dis-ease, discomfort, challenges, contrast, whatever word you want to use. When they begin to shake free, literally, the body will shake. This experience has happened to me for 3 decades. I have been doing different modalities of healing work, and the shaking is the one thing that was consistent throughout all of them. Whether it was breath work of the 80s, the old versions of breath work, which are still wonderful and relevant. Any of the dynamic meditations I did with Rajneesh groups way back when, super dating myself, I understand. Yeah, Buddhist
Sound
traditions,
healing.
yoga, sound healing, on and on.
Yes.
There's so many. Yes, if your
Okay.
body is shaking and you don't have a medical condition that suggests you have seizures, certainly do
No,
your
no.
due diligence with medical stuff. I am not a medical professional. I have a degree in English. I was a writing professor. Words are my thing. But know that if your body is shaking, you're in a safe place. If you are, I've had people tell me they fall down, and I always say, surround yourself with pillows or just begin the meditation in a reclined position so that you don't fall
Yes.
over. Just create safety for yourself and know that the shaking is something that not only I have experienced in pretty much every healing experience or modality that I've used, but many, many people have told me the same thing. So yeah,
Beautiful.
you're on the
And then
right
I just
track.
want to close, yeah, close it out with when yesterday when I was doing that, the DNA strand, we were looking, you know, we were instructed to see the light straight in a straight line, you know, from top to bottom. But it, to me, it turned into DNA strand, and they were violet and blue, and I thought that was so beautiful and amazing. I just wanted to say
Yeah.
that.
Thank you. Thank you, Claudia, for sharing that. And yes, you may see that as you're doing the breath work, spirals are very common and it'll come up. Note the colors, note the feelings, sense and feel into your body prior to you with your body scans, prior to and after. Always keep checking in and saying, what has a different feeling now? And begin to notice where you feel free, where you feel expansive, and yeah, begin to love into your own personal DNA expression. What does it look like? If you're in your meditations or in a breath work and you start seeing your DNA strand, approach that with curiosity. See what it looks like. See if there is a break somewhere in your DNA strand. And then you have an opportunity to say to yourself, there's something in this vision that I'm seeing of my personal DNA strand that needs a little love and connection. And you can breathe into that as well. Like you can find areas of connection. Again, you don't have to force it if it's something you're already seeing. Why not? You have an opportunity to just get curious and see if you can impact it
Yeah,
with one of your tools. Yeah. So
great
thank you,
idea.
Claudia. Great
Thank
question.
you.
All right, going to finish up for today. Thank you all so very much. I couldn't tell you how much I love being here with all of you, sending you all a tremendous amount of joy and love for your day or your night, wherever you might be. See if they're going to give us hearts today. There we go. Sending you all the love in the world and
Thank you.
beyond.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you, everyone, for showing up and your questions. It's great to hear and be a part of.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. And thank you, Lori, for all you're doing for the group. I really, truly appreciate your help.
Yay. Till next week. Bye.
Till next week. Goodbye.